Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 23, verse number 45. 45 does not have purport, so we will go through 46 as well. So first I'll recite verse number 45 and then we will recite verse number 46 together. Verse number 45. Nanu swartha vimudhanam pramattanam grihe haya aho naha smarayamas gopavakyaihi satam gati. Translation given by the humble disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Indeed, infatuated as we are with our household affairs, we have deviated completely from the real aim of our life. But now just see how the Lord, through the words of these simple cowherd boys, has reminded us of the ultimate destination of all true transcendentalists. Verse number 46, please repeat after me. Anyatha purnakamasya kaivalya adi ashisha patehe ishitavyaihi kim asmabhihi ishasya etad vidambanam anyatha purnakamasya kaivalyadya shisham patehe kaivalyadya shisham patehe ishitavyaihi kim asmabhir ishitavyaihi kim asmabhir Ishasyaitad-vidambanam Anyatha purnakamasya kaivalyadya shisham patehe ishitavyaihi kim smabhir Ishasyetad-vidambanam Anyatha purnakamasya kaivalyadya shisham patehe ishitavyaihi kim asmabhir Ishasyetad-vidambanam Anyatha purnakamasya kaivalyadya shisham patehe ishitavyaihi kim asmabhir Ishasyetad-vidambanam Anyatha purnakamasya kaivalyadya shisham patehe ishitavyaihi kim asmabhir ईशस्यैतद्विडम्बनम् अन्यथा पूर्णकामस्य कैवल्याद्यशिशां पतेः ईशितव्यैः किम् अस्माभिर् ईशस्यैतद्विडम्बनम् अन्यथा पूर्णकामस्य कैवल्याद्यशिशां पतेः ईशितव्यैः किम् अस्माभिर् ईशस्यैतद्विडम्बनम्. Mataji's please. अन्यथा पूर्णकामस्य कैवल्याद्यशिशां पतेः ईशितव्यैः किम् अस्माभिर् ईशस्यैतद्विडम्बनम्. अन्यथा, otherwise, purnakamasya, of him whose every possible desire is fulfilled, kaivalya, of liberation, adi, and others, ashisham, benedictions, pateha, the master, ishitavyaihi, with those who are meant to be controlled, kim, what, asmabhi, with us, ishasya, of him who is the absolute controller, etad, this, vidambanam, pretense. Translation and purport given by the humble disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Otherwise, why would the Supreme Controller, whose every desire is already fulfilled, and who is the Master of liberation and all other transcendental benedictions, enact this pretense with us, who are always to be controlled by Him? Purport. Although Lord Krishna is the absolute truth, we humbly sent his cowherd boyfriends to beg food from the Brahmanas. In so doing, he exposed the Brahmanas' foolish arrogance and established the glories of his own transcendental beauty by attracting their very wives to surrender at his lotus feet. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasha Swamin iti namane. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation one more time. Otherwise, why would the Supreme Controller, whose every desire is already fulfilled, and who is the Master of liberation and all other transcendental benedictions, enact this pretense with us, who are always to be controlled by him? Hare Krishna. So we continue to hear the glorious pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, where he had showered his mercy onto the Brahmana Patnis. The Supreme Person had showered his mercy onto the Brahmana Patnis, not because they are Brahmana Patnis, but they are the pure devotees of the Lord, whose intense desire to love and serve God, to Krishna, made them to get the topmost benediction to go back home, back to Godhead, Krishna Prema. In fact, this particular opportunity was first given by the Lord to Brahmanas. But when Brahmanas rejected the petition of cowherd boys to give them food, then only cowherd boys went to Brahmana Patnis. In fact, Krishna is called as Sarvabhuta Manobhigya. Sarvabhuta Manobhigya means one who knows the minds of everyone. And Krishna, definitely being the Supreme Person, knows the mind of every living entity. So in fact, Prabhupada talks about this in Krishna book, that Krishna knew that this Brahmanas would not give food to Krishna. And that's the reason Krishna specifically asked cowherd boys that you take name of Balram. When you go to Brahmanas asking or requesting for the food, you take Balram's name. Don't take my name, because they don't know who I am. Why Krishna tells about this? Because Krishna is the son of Yashoda Maya, and Yashoda is the wife of Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda Maharaj is Vaishya. So ultimately Krishna is Vaishya. And Balram is the son of Rohini, who is the wife of Vasudeva, and Vasudeva is the king. So Balram is the Kshatriya. So Krishna, he knew that these Brahmanas would not give charity to Vaishya, but they might give, or just ask by taking Balram's name whether they give charity or not, means the food to you or not. Even though Krishna is Sarva Bhuta Manobhigya, he gave this opportunity to Brahmanas because as Krishna is all independent, the minute independence given to all the living entities. And Krishna just wanted to see that whether these Brahmanas utilize this minute independence to serve me or don't serve me. And that's the reason Krishna has given this opportunity to Brahmanas to check whether they give these cowherd boys food or not. Otherwise, Krishna is Sarvabhuta Manobhigyam. He knows the minds of every living entity. And this is what in this material world also we see all around the world, that being the Supreme Person, he gives an opportunity to each and every living entity to check whether they want to serve him or they just want to be master of everything. We see this. I mean, there are many examples to look at. There is a class of people who are called Shunyavadis or atheists. They upright reject. They say that there is no God. Or there is a class of people, they say that we love God, but we don't want to follow the instructions of God. The God's instructions, the first instruction of God is that thou shalt not kill. But then they left, right, kill animals, slaughter them for their sense gratification. Then we see that there is one more class of people who says that their religion, if someone don't follow their religion, then they have a right to bomb them or blast them and kill them. That's what that particular group of people says. There is a class of people who says that by performing yoga you can attain the perfection of life. So they do some gymnastics, and ultimately what do they achieve is that they just increase their lifespan, but they don't achieve any perfection. Then the most dangerous class of people are Mayavadis. Why they are most dangerous class of people? Because they take shelter of Vedas and conclude that God has no form. So that means God has no leg, no hands, no ears, no eyes, no form. So you can worship whichever form you want, but ultimately there is no form of God. Okay, you want to worship mountain as a god, okay, you worship. You want to worship river as a god, you worship. Then finally they say, you are God, I am God, everyone is God. So that is most dangerous class of people. Why? Because they take shelter of Vedas and then they conclude this. Srila Prabhupada very rigorously fought against this people, this set of people. Srila Prabhupada gives one example. Prabhupada says that this Mayavadi philosophy is like, okay, there is a body and then this body has 9 holes, and these 9 holes, whichever hole you put the food stuff, it would reach to stomach. Because all holes are same. This Mayavadi says that everything is same. There is no form. Okay, so everything is same. You are me and everything is same. So these 9 holes are same. So you don't need to eat through the mouth, which is one of the hole, to energize your body or nurture your body. As per this Mayavadis, if we follow this Mayavadi philosophy, that means any hole, okay, through ear, through eyes, through rectum, any hole, you push the food stuff and it should reach the stomach. But no, this is not true. To reach the stomach and to nurture the body, we have to take the food stuff through the mouth. So similarly, the Supreme Person who has a form, he is different from the living entities and this matter. This matter is called Jada, which is material. Beyond this material, there is a spiritual. And this, the Lord of this both spiritual and material, has got a form, and his name is Krishna. So this particular philosophy, Mayavadi don't understand and they don't agree. And that's the reason they are most dangerous. They follow Vedas and they conclude that God has no form. And that's the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned all of us that Mayavadi Bhashya Shunile Hoi Sarvanash. So, one should understand that after getting the knowledge of Vedas, after understanding Vedas, the conclusion is Vedeshya Sarver Ahameva Vedyaha Vedanta Krit Veda Videva Chaham. As we heard yesterday, that Krishna says that the result of understanding Veda is to know me. I am the Supreme Person, and the ultimate goal of living entity, their constitutional position is to serve me. If this particular point one does not understand, then it is Shrama Evahi Kevalam. It is like wasting the time, or one can say Mandanam Lokaranjanam, decorating the dead body. That there is no life in the body, it is dead, but he is decorating that as if that particular body has got a life. So, the first lesson is that when one takes shelter of Vedas, when one takes shelter of the scriptures, by reading those scriptures, by understanding those scriptures, one should come to a conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the Supreme God. And all other living entities, constitutional position is to serve him. And that's what the Brahmanas failed to understand. They took the shelter of the Vedas, they studied the Vedas, they are performing the yagyas, but they failed to understand that Krishna is a Supreme Person, because here it is mentioned in the verse that Nanum, certainly, indeed. Why? Certainly, why? Because they are Swartha, they are selfish, they are Mudha, bewildered, they are Pramattanam, intoxicated, and they are Grihaya, that they are attached to their household activities. This particular conditioning made them not to understand Krishna. On the other hand, if we see that Brahmana Patnis, and now Brahmana Patnis are also Brahmanas, but they could understand the real position of the Supreme Person, they could understand the real position of themselves. Why? How? Because of the association of the pure devotees of the Lord. When they were performing their household activities, they were always associating with the pure devotees of the Lord in the form of the flower woman or the travelers who used to pass through the Vrindavan streets. They used to hear from them about the Supreme Lord Krishna. They used to hear about the Supreme Lord, how the qualities of Krishna, the form of Krishna, how beautiful Krishna looks like, different pastimes of Krishna, different friends, disciples of Krishna. Parshada means disciples or friends or the one who is following Krishna. So due to that particular hearing, they started chanting Krishna's name. And as they started chanting Krishna's name, every moment of their life, they were remembering Krishna. So, hearing, chanting, that means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. They were remembering Krishna. And as they were remembering Krishna every moment of their life, ultimately, they started, when they got an opportunity to see the Krishna, they started in the activities of Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam and Atmanivedanam. So they surrendered themselves, their lives to Krishna, and ultimately they achieved the benediction, going back home, back to Godhead, Krishna Prema. So this is the ultimate point, that even though if one does not perform different activities, like in verse number 44, it is mentioned that this Brahmana Patnis never undergone purificatory rites. They did not even go to any brahmachari ashram. They did not know the standards. They did not perform any austerities. They did not perform the formalities of cleanliness or engaged in pious rituals. But they were always chaste to their husbands, and they went on hearing about the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the association of pure devotees. So this is very important aspect of one's life, that we must associate with the devotees of the Lord and perform devotional service. That's the reason the beauty of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says, is the bhakti is called devotional service. Ultimately, Prabhupada said that this Krishna consciousness movement is to make people Brahmanas. Brahmanas means Brahminical qualification. Brahminical qualification means to understand, study the scriptures and understand who are we, who is the Supreme Person, and what is our relationship with the Supreme. It's not that we are upright rejecting or criticizing the system followed by people who goes through this particular purificatory rites and going to ashrama of spiritual master and performing austerities. No, we are not criticizing or rejecting this particular system of bringing one to a Brahminical culture. The point what is mentioned here is that after performing all this process of Brahminical culture, if one does not understand his real position, which is the servant of the Supreme Person, and and understand that who the Supreme Lord is, then this all is, as we mentioned, Mandanam Lokaranjanam or Shrama Evahi Kevalam. Further to this, now we are seeing here that Brahmanas are at least came back to the senses. After seeing Brahmana Patnis, their desire to love and serve the Lord, they came back to their senses and they understood the real essence of Vedas. And that's the reason in verse number 46, they are saying that Krishna is Purna Kamasya. Krishna, we don't need to fulfill his desire. Krishna is Purna Kamasya. And he is the master of liberation and he gives the transcendental benediction. And he has played this act with us to understand or to make us understand that we made a mistake. We messed it up with this particular cowherd boys. Because these cowherd boys are not ordinary cowherd boys. These cowherd boys are pure devotees of the Lord. Krishna is not an ordinary cowherd boy. Balaram is not an ordinary cowherd boy. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They understood, and that also requires the intelligence. So even though they messed it up, they have realized the fact. Again, it's a mercy of the Lord unto them that they could realize their mistake. And that's the reason in this particular verse, they are kind of submitting themselves, that Krishna is the supreme controller and he played this particular act with us to make us understand what is our real position. Now we are always seeing the devotee's desire to love Krishna and to serve him. But on the other hand, Krishna also reciprocates in the same way. Krishna, being the Supreme Person, it's not just that he accepts the service of his devotees, but at the same time he reciprocates to the sacrifices, the devotion, unconditional devotion, which has been performed by the devotees. One aspect here we have to see is why Krishna has to perform this particular act. I mean, why he has to send cowherd boys to Brahmanas only. He could have just acted in some other way to fulfill the desire of Brahman Patnis. The one of the aspect we can think here is that Krishna sent cowherd boys to Brahmanas only to ask for the food, because Krishna is a Brahmana Priya. Brahmanas are dear to Krishna. And Krishna wanted to teach this to Brahmanas, that by performing the yagyas, by going through so much knowledge of Vedas, by performing austerities, by performing yama, niyama, dhyana, dharana, you please understand the essence of it, that I am the Supreme Person and I am to be served in the end. That's the reason this lesson Krishna wanted to teach Brahmanas. That's the reason he sent cowherd boys to Brahmanas, because Krishna is a Brahmana Priya. He has special affection for Brahmanas. And the next point is that Krishna is so merciful that his love for the devotees is difficult to understand. With this limited intelligence, with this limited knowledge, what we acquire, it's very difficult to understand Krishna's love for the devotees. And there are many examples to prove that the devotees love Krishna, but the love of Krishna for his devotees is kind of cherry on the top of the cake, or ice of the cake. One of the example we see that becoming a chariot driver of a devotee, The Supreme Person is becoming a chariot driver of his loving devotee called Arjuna. If we all know that when Kshatriya on the battlefield, he fights, his chariot driver, he doesn't speak, or he doesn't just touch to ask them to go in this direction or that direction. Sometimes it is said that Kshatriya in the battlefield, while having a fierce battle with the opponent, he kicks the chariot driver to just speed up the chariot or to just go in certain direction. So that is the position the Supreme Lord is taking for his devotee. And there are many more examples where we see that yes, devotees have intense desire to love and serve the Lord, but when the Lord reciprocates, that particular reciprocation is always the topmost. And one of the example I would really like to discuss here is the topmost love Krishna had for his devotee called Sudama. Sudama, we all know that Sudama was with Krishna in Sandipuni Muni ashram, and they spent a lot of time. And when on the request of his wife, Sudama came to Dwarka requesting for the opulence, when Sudama sees Krishna and Krishna sees Sudama, what Krishna does is that, "Oh Brahmana, you have come, you are the most dear Brahmana, you are the dearmost devotee of mine, you please come." And what he did? He washed his feet. And what the goddess of fortune done? Goddess of fortune has fanned Sudama. She fanned Sudama. And Krishna washed the feet of Sudama. And as we have already discussed that Krishna is Sarva Bhuta Manobhigya, Krishna knew that Sudama has brought a gift for him. Sudama did not open his mouth because Sudama was thinking that how can I offer this cheap rice to my most beloved friend who is the Supreme Person. But as being a Sarva Bhuta Manobhigyam, Krishna knew that this person, my dear most friend, has brought a gift for me. And it's really amazing conversation, or not a conversation, but the feelings of a devotee for the Lord and feelings of the Lord for his devotee is mentioned here, that when Krishna washes Sudama's feet, and Krishna asks Sudama that what kind of gift you have brought, Sudama does not open his mouth. He just keeps quiet because he feels ashamed. He is embarrassed to say that I have brought chipped rice for you. But then Krishna snatches that and then eats one full hand of chipped rice. And then when he tries to eat another hand of chipped rice, Rukmini stops him. The goddess of fortune stops him because she understands that Sudama has come here on the request of his wife to get an opulence. And being a goddess of fortune, I should shower this particular benediction to him. So for that, the Lord doesn't need to eat all the chipped rice. So she says that you don't need to eat more now. I have understood that what is your love for the devotee, and definitely his request will be fulfilled. And not just this, what Krishna does is that first of all, Sudama thinks, what he thinks, we'll just read this. Prabhupada very beautifully explains this, that Sudama says that who am I? A sinful, poor friend of a of a Brahmana. And who is Krishna? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in 6 opulences. Nonetheless, he has embraced me with his 2 arms. Means Sudama is thinking this, that I am a sinful, poor Brahmana. And who is Krishna? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But even though he is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is full of 6 opulences, he is embracing me with his 2 arms. Next, he is saying that he treated me just like one of his brothers. He made me to sit on the bed of his beloved consort. And because I was fatigued, his queen personally fanned me with a yak-tailed chamara. This is what Sudama is thinking. And this is when he is thinking, the incident has happened. Krishna did not give him anything. Sudama is going back. Sudama did not ask anything to Krishna. Even though Sudama has come to Krishna on the request of his wife to get an opulence, Krishna is so amazing that he is not telling Sudama that, oh, you have come for asking for an opulence and I'll give it to you. Krishna simply smiled. And they had a reciprocation. Krishna washed his feet, Rukmini Devi fanned him, and then Krishna snatched chipped rice, ate it, and then Sudama also spent a night there. Sudama also did not ask that for what reason I have come. And they have amazing reciprocation, and then Sudama next day he left Krishna's house, he goes back. And then Sudama is thinking on the way back, going home, all these things. And then he says that devotional service to Krishna's lotus feet is the root cause of all the perfections a person can find in heaven, in liberation, in the subterranean regions and on earth. So this is what Sudama is thinking. And in his thinking, if this poor wretch suddenly becomes rich, he will forget me in his intoxicating happiness. So Sudama is saying that Krishna did not give me opulence because what he is thinking, that if he gives me the opulence, I'll become intoxicating, I'll become a wretch, I'll become a poor wretch with that intoxicating happiness. Because I'll go under the intoxication. That's what the Brahmanas, in verse number 45, why Brahmana failed to give food to cowherd boys? Because they could not understand Krishna. Why they could not understand Krishna? Because they are bewildered, they are pramatta, they are swartha, they are pramatta, they are intoxicated. That's the reason they could not understand who is Krishna. So Sudama is saying the same thing here. Why Krishna is not giving me opulence? Because he thinks that by getting the opulence, I'll become intoxicated. That is what the Krishna's compassion is. The compassionate Lord did not grant me even a little wealth. That is what he is thinking, Sudama. So, finally, he comes back home. Thinking like this, he comes back home. And what he sees? That he sees that all wealth is there. He sees that he is standing in front of a big empire. The wife is waiting for him. The wife is looking like a goddess, demigoddess. The wife is looking like a demigoddess. And there are so many servants. The house is filled with jewels. That's what Sudama is seeing. And now see, why Krishna did not give this opulence in front of Sudama. And when Sudama left the home and then way back, going back home, Sudama is thinking like this. And when he comes to home, he sees all this opulence. And on the other hand, now what Krishna thinks, now we'll read this and then we can understand that devotees' love for Krishna is so intense, so magnificent. But when Krishna reciprocates, even though he is the Supreme Person, the Krishna's reciprocation is topmost. One cannot really even touch touch 1% of his reciprocation. So Krishna says this, and Prabhupada explains this. Prabhupada explains this in verse number 34 of Canto 10, chapter 81, that Shri Krishna is Bhuri Bhoja. the unlimited enjoyer. I'll just take 5 minutes and then we'll pause. Sri Krishna is Bhuri Bhoja, the unlimited enjoyer. He did not tell Sudama how he was going to fulfill his unspoken request. Because, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, he was thinking at the time, my dear friend has given me these grains of rice. Krishna is thinking like this. My dear friend has given me these grains of rice, which are greater than all the treasure I own. Even though in his own house he had no such gift to bring me, he took the trouble of begging it from a neighbor. Therefore, it is only proper that I give him something more valuable than all my possessions. But nothing is equal to or greater than what I possess. So all I can do is give him such meager things as the treasures of Indra, Brahma, and other demigods. Embarrassed at being unable to properly reciprocate his devotees' offering, Lord Krishna bestowed his favor on the Brahmana silently. Silently means he did not give in front of him. Silently he gave. And the analogy what Prabhupada gives is excellent. The Lord acted just like a magnanimous rain cloud, which provides the necessities of life for everyone near and far, but feels ashamed that its rain is too insignificant. Its rain is too insignificant, a gift to give in return for the abundant offerings that farmers make to it. So the analogy is given of a rain cloud. That rain cloud waits till the night. They did not pour or did not rain. Why? Because they feel ashamed by seeing the hard work of a farmer who puts in sowing the seeds, putting the fertilizers, cultivating the field. So they feel ashamed. So what rain clouds does, that they wait till night, and then when all the farmers sleep, that time they pours the rain. So that is what Krishna is thinking, that this is what the analogy Prabhupada is giving. That out of shame, the cloud may wait till night time when the farmers are asleep before watering their fields. So this is what the Krishna's reciprocation is. That definitely that devotees are wonderful. Devotees' love for the Lord is wonderful. When we say we love Lord, we should know the Lord. And to know the Lord, we should serve the Lord. It's not that it should be a whimsical. We see there are many people around the world. They say that yes, we also believe in Lord. Yes, we also love Lord. And Prabhupada gives an example. That their loving the Lord is like that husband is coming back home and wife is just telling husband, oh, you have come back home. I love honey. I love you, honey. I love you. Then he comes back home. He sits for some time. Oh, my wife loves me, but I really need a glass of water. I am tired. I am coming back home from office. But she does not give a glass of water. She just simply smiles and say, I love you, honey. Then he says, okay, anyways, okay, she loves me. It's good. So let me at least have some dinner. So he sits on the table, dining table, but nothing is served. There is nothing. She also sits besides the husband and says, smilingly, I love you, honey. But then now the husband really gets cranky. He says, okay, your love is good, no problem. But then I am hungry. Can you please give me some food to eat? But no, I have not done anything for you, but I love you. So this is really a whimsical. This is like as we already discussed, that mandanam lokaranjanam, that decorating on the dead body. This is not love. This is just some acting, we can say. So to love God, one should know the God. One should know Krishna, and to know Krishna, one should serve Krishna. And that's what Prabhupada, when he says that this Krishna consciousness movement is to make people Brahmanas, that means that Prabhupada made everyone to serve the Lord, to know Him by the Vedic injunction and to serve Him. So we should understand this point, that serving the Lord is the most important. Just not saying that yes, I love God, I believe in God. But the ultimate point is that we should serve Him. So I'll just take a pause here. Please, if you have any questions or comments, we can just discuss about this. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.